Hi, I'm Tyler, and welcome to another episode of my Christian Music Week reviews. Each week I take 5 releases, be it albums, EPs, or singles, and after I listen to them all week, I come back here and I review them. I share what I think about them. So without further ado, let's get to this week's first release. The deluxe edition of Newsboys' latest album, Stand. So before I dive into my thoughts on the deluxe edition of Newsboys' latest album, Stand, let me just say this came across a request from Christian Music Girl. Thanks, Christian Music Girl, for requesting this deluxe edition, along with Alexander Pappas, Blanca, and Ben Forward, who I'm going to get to a little later on. But let's talk about Newsboys first. So what's new on the Stand Deluxe Edition? So we got 3 new songs. The title track now also has Toby Mac in it, in addition to Newsboys. And also we get an acoustic version of I Still Believe You're Good. As for what I think of the album here, so I definitely had to get a little more into a few of the songs here. But overall, pretty good album here. The deluxe edition tracks are pretty good too. All things are possible. Vocally had to grow on me a little bit, but that was just my take. But I even came to like that one by the time I finished my 3rd listen of that one. And the acoustic version of I Still Believe You're Good is good too. Kind of gives it a little bit of a softer feel. And also Toby Mac does a good job of appearing on the new version of Stand. So pretty good album here. Pretty good deluxe edition here. Stylistically, the original album was definitely a pop, rock, and pop feel to it. The new deluxe edition tracks, I feel like, kind of have a little more of a contemporary worship direction to it. And as for the lyrics here, love the lyrics here. Michael Tate talks about how when he was lost in doubt and sin, God in his merciful love and grace through Jesus, giving everything on the cross, drew Michael to change him clean, free, and new. And now in the trials, including those that come from sharing with the world, how Jesus wants to change them too. He doesn't fear, but rather peacefully puts his hope in God to be faithfully sovereign over it. And with Michael, to turn the trials into the breakthrough, just as he promised. Up next, Bethel Music's new album, Simple. Alright, Christian Music Girl, I'll get back to the rest of your requests, but I'm going to take a little side here to talk about Bethel Music's new album, Simple. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good album here, stylistically, definitely a softer worship album. Pretty good album here, stylistically, definitely a softer worship album. Definitely some alternative influence here as well. And as for the lyrics here, love the lyrics here too. Bethel Music, pretty relaxing album by the way, sound-wise. And as for the lyrics here, love the lyrics here too. Bethel Music talks about how when we are weakened by trying to control everything when our world falls apart, God meets us there as we honestly are to help us see his love and mercy through his son Jesus' sacrificial blood that washes our sin away is there with us to give us strength and grow our hearts to the point where we surrender them to live a life of worship to him as he is worthy of. Up next, Alexander Pappas is of Hillsong Young and Free's solo EP, American Dream. Alexander Pappas' new EP, American Dream. Thanks again to Christian Music Girl for requesting these 3 remaining releases. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good EP here from Alexander. Stylistically here, definitely a pop rock and alternative sound here. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. Alexander talks about struggling to let go of regrets and the uncertainty of the future, but he realizes he needs to let it go and trust that Jesus, in his never-forsaken grace and love, has forgiven Alexander of his past regret and reigns with justice above the fading kingdoms of this world to allow the best to be ahead for Alexander, just as he promised. Up next, Blanca's new album, The Heartbreak into Healing. Blanca's new album, The Heartbreak into Healing. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good album here. There were a few songs that took a little getting used to early on, how her voice sounded on them and stuff. But I think that grew on me by the second listen, so pretty good album here. Stylistically, definitely a mix of pop, R&B, first and foremost, but definitely some hip-hop and contemporary elements as well here. And as for the lyrics here, love the honesty of the lyrics here. Blanca talks about how when she's feeling low and lonely and the painful heartbreak, she puts her faith in the Lord God, who in his faithful love stays with her, even at her worst, to protect her and remind her it'll be alright, because he'll keep his promise to heal the heartbreak into something better. Up next, our last release for today, Ben Foller's debut album, Alrighty, Christian Music Girl, one more of your requests to go, and thanks for all the requests you've given today. And that would be Ben Foller's debut album, Who I Am. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good debut here. Stylistically, definitely a contemporary influence throughout, with pop rock and country elements definitely dominating here. And as for the lyrics here, love the lyrics here. Love how Ben basically gives his testimony through the lyrics here. Ben talked about how he was hopelessly lost and dead in shame as a rebellious prodigal from sin, addiction, suicide, and his father's verbal abuse that nearly destroyed him, until God, in his undeserved sacrificial love, through his son Jesus' dying on the cross, resurrected Ben into a child he is proud of, free from the past. Well, that's it for this week. Come back next week for 5 more releases. What's on the video? Please subscribe. Put up videos every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Also, do you have any thoughts on today's releases or what I may have said about them? Let me know in the comments below. Also, in the comments, you can let me know if there's any awesome releases that came out today that you want to see in next week's video. Also, one more day to check out the September edition of my Music Month of Dreams playlist, which for today still features Brandon Heath, Josh Wilson, Colton Dixon, and Jack Cassidy. And know that tonight, or tomorrow, depending on where you live, a new edition of the Music Month Dream playlist is coming out. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. Well, go now. See you next week. Bye!